The talk about today, it's going to be about Unreal Engine 4, the very basics of this tool that allow us to build games. So let's start by a little bit of its history. Unreal Engine is an engine developed by Epic Games. They are the creators of a game franchise like Jazz Jackrabbit, Gears of War, Unreal Tournament. Unreal Tournament was the first game that this company created, or one of the first, in 1998. It had a graphic quality that surprised many people. It was actually ahead of anything that we have seen at that time. So this made people to start looking at how to build and power up games to match the Unreal Tournament level. One of the key moments that happened around this time was the launch of dedicated video cards, so that video cards started to have their own memory. Then on the second version of the engine, they decided to add export to multi-platform. On Unreal Engine 3, we had more tools, more control, less programming, and well, at that point, UDK was born to give support to all the indie games development. So where does this idea came from? Well, Unreal Tournament was based on a proprietary engine, but the idea of counting with such engine came from CCT, which is a really old game. I don't remember the date, but it was a DOS game, and what this game had was the idea of a really awesome chance of personalize your own gameplay. So let's see what's the motivation of the engine. The motivation of it is to reuse code so that there's no more PC or console. So they wanted to be able to build stuff for both PC and console. One of the other motivations that it had is that it's collaboration versus monopolized development. The game engine is its own end target. What do we mean with this? Is that the company behind this wanted to build an engine. They wanted to build something that could help developers create new games. So they aimed for creativity over technical barriers and also for graphic excellence. So I'm gonna be talking, will be a little bit heavy, maybe not, some of the main concepts of Unreal Engine. So the most basic unit that we have inside the Unreal world is an object. So every element is ultimately an object. Internally, the code is defined, the base class for this is a U object, which encapsulates the behavior of the engine. Then we have actors, that is any element that could be or that can be put on a level. The class A actor defines an actor and encapsulates all the functionality relative to positioning. So that is transformation, when you move something around. Translation, when you translation, what it was. No, it doesn't matter. Translation, rotation, and scale. So a game level is formed by a group of actors that are positioned coherently and interact between each other. So some examples of this are a static mesh, a camera, an emitter, a HUD, the terrain. Then we have the pawn. The pawn is a specific type of actor. It's a subclass, actually, that represents a character that can be possessed or unpossessed, depending on whether it exists a controller that gives input to it or not. So a character englobes its own avatar, collisions, and its movement based on input that is given by either what? Yeah, can you hear me? Okay. So a character englobes a lot of things, its own avatar, collisions, whatever movement we decide to put to him. And this input, it could be given by either a player or an artificial intelligence. So this can be, the AI can move it by either teleport, so that's appear directly on a target location, or by sweeping, which is actually moving towards the target and collisioning everything on its way. more concepts. So then on Unreal Engine, we have what we call the player controller and the AI controller. They're both responsible of directing a pawn, giving input to it. So the player controller receives an input and delegates them to the pawn so that the pawn can start moving around, while the AI controller is more of a simulated wheel. With a group of rules that will make it move. So for example, let's say, I don't know, a artificial intelligence will move whenever it sees a player pawn, and it will try to catch him. That is one of the most basic ones. Then we have what we call the level, which is just a group of meshes, volumes, lights, blueprints, all that combined define the elements of the player that will interact with. So a game can have several levels. They can be either large, small, they can be loaded one by one, or they can be loaded by streaming. So an example of a game loaded by streaming, I don't know if any of you played World of Warcraft, but if you have played that, and if you remember when we started moving, the game started loading, and sometimes you could see the actual word, the line of sight, that at the end of it, it started showing up new things, new stuff. So that's loaded by streaming. Then we have what we call the HUD. So Unreal provides us different mechanisms to build and show a HUD. We have the canvas and the UMG UI designer. The canvas is, as many of you already know, it's an object with low-level behavior that's related to it's related to the render stage of the HUD, sorry, that typo, and allow us to draw text and images directly and at a low level. The UMG is Unreal Motion Graphics User Interface Designer, a big and complex name to UI designer, if you ask me, that allow us to create user interfaces, like, let's say, the user menu. And it's based in smaller units that are called widgets. Then we have components. A component is a functionality that is attachable to any actor, but by its own, it does not have any relevance. Then we can have also a group of components define the general functions of an actor, how it answers to different stimuli, its structure, or even its appearance. Then we have what we call the game mode, that defines the game rules that will be enforced by the engine. It has a state machine. I don't know if you know what a state machine is, but we might see it later. The state machine controls the flow of the gameplay or the session status. So the state starts at an entering state, then it goes to await, then to in progress, then wait post match, and then leave or abort in case there's an unrecoverable error. The game state, do not confuse this with the state machine of the game mode. The game state keeps record of the game session. So on the game state, we usually save all that we deem necessary for keeping record, such as a score, a player list in, for example, a multiplayer game, a guest log in an RPG, etc. Then we have the camera. So each player controller has a player camera manager that sets what the player is looking from his point of view. The camera by itself, it's a component, and it's called the camera component at code level. And it wraps itself in an actor, a camera actor, to be able to be positioned in a level. So a little bit of a summary of all that I just said is that we have a player controller, and that player joins a game that has a game mode and a game state. The player controller contains a HUD, which is all the visual stuff that we want to show the user. Then the player controller also handles input, so contains inputs, and it also has a player camera manager. That's what the player will see. The player controller also possesses a pawn, which the pawn is, let's say, the character in our game. And then the AI controller also possesses a pawn. So that's basically it. So this is a really rough summary. Let's talk a little bit about the editor. The Unreal Editor is the tool that allows us to put all the previous concepts in action. It's an integrated design and development environment that allows us to create levels, actors, configure the project, execute the game, debug, and package it. Up next, we will see, well, the fundamental parts of the editor and how to take control over it. Unreal Engine gives us two alternatives for code development, C++ or Blueprints. In this series of tech talks, I will use Blueprints to show how we define rules, behavior, and actor management in the game. What is Blueprint? Blueprint is a visual scripting language based in the usage of parameterized attachable nodes that allow us to use nearly all of the tools available for a developer without using the code. Although sometimes it is complicated and it doesn't let you do the same things as in code or the same thing as neatly and as tidy as we do it in the code. Basically, think of a blueprint as coding with bubbles, visual coding. Well, the editor is composed by several things. The main thing is the viewport, in which the pre-visualization and simulation of the game in development. It has several views. It has top, side, front, perspective view, and it also has different modes. Lit, it will show us all the objects that all the objects that are with lighting in the game. We have the wireframe view, which is kind of what we are seeing right there. Let me give a second. It's kind of what we see here. I don't know if you see my pointer or not, but it shows you all the lines. Then collisions, it's what happens when, let's say, a mesh of a pawn tries to hit a wall, and then it cannot hit the wall because the wall has a collision container. The viewport allows us to execute some console commands, capture screenshots, play with object visibility, among other things. The basic movement inside the viewport is with WASD, with the arrows. You can use the mouse to look around, the mouse wheel to zoom in and zoom out, E to raise, so it's going just up in height, and Q to descend. Then the Unreal Editor has the world outliner that contains the list of actors that belong to the level being edited. These actors can be positioned in hierarchies. The child belongs to, if I put an actor inside another one, the child will now belong to the same local space as the father, or we can arrange them in folders as we see fit. Details is just a small tab that allows to see all the data that is relevant for the selected actor, and or through the viewport. You can select them either in the world outliner or in the viewport. And the data shown includes, well, the actor position in the world, rotation, scale, configuration values, other associated actors, like, I don't know, I have a card and the card shoots a missile, and the missile is its own actor, so maybe I could have it in there as well. We have 4 ways of building a level in Unreal Engine. We have place, paint, landscape, and foliage. Place allow us to create actors of different types in the level by just doing drag and drop. This is, I think, no. Yeah, we are looking right now at the place. So I could place an empty actor, an empty character, an empty pawn, or just a cube, a sphere, and do stuff with them. Paint allow us to, well, what it says, paint 3D models directly in the viewport. Landscape is more like you generate a big 3D plane, and then you either deform it with different techniques. I mean, you can raise and stretch the plane all the way up to create a mountain, or you could create a depression and then add another plane in which you could, let's say, for example, build a reverse. So that plane would be the water plane, and we will put into it water texture. Then we have what we call foliage, that it's based on a texture and one or more 3D models. So those 3D models that we have planes a la billboard. We can have static 3D models or more complex models. So that's all the grass, trees, and stuff that we would like to add. You can define the spread area for all those models to be located, and then well, the engine selects and places them given two parameters: the radius, which is how big I'm gonna be painting plants on the landscape, to be put it roughly, and the saturation, so that's how many plants will be the density of the plants in a given area. Then we have the content browser. This is the internal directory structure of the game. All resources are saved in a content folder and are packaged as .uasset files. The engine recognizes all uasset files automatically and imports them into it. There's only one restriction to this, and this that you cannot import uassets of newer versions than the one that you're using to develop. So let's say I'm using Unreal Engine 4.7.6, and I have a friend, or I'm working with another developer, and he gives me, I know, try this cool car that I designed in Unreal 4.9. I couldn't import it on my own project because that's the restriction. The rest, images, textures, materials, blueprints, meshes in FBX formats, and other elements are treated in the same way. They are converted into uassets and they are imported into the project. Then we have, well, the blueprint editor, which it's one of the most important things in this tech talk. The blueprint editor is what we use to code all the events of the game, all the behavior, mostly everything. The blueprint editor has 3 tabs. The first one is the viewport. I hope you can see. Do you see this? Do you see my mouse, my pointer, when I'm showing? Yeah.
Yes.
Cool, cool. Well, we have the viewport, which actually the viewport will show us the rendered actor or blueprint that we are editing. So for example, I don't know, let's say I build a blueprint that has that the mesh is a sphere. If I go to the viewport, I will see a sphere rendered. The construction script is the tab where we put stuff for when we initialize this component or this blueprint, and the event graph is what's executed on. It's what triggers all the events. In there, we have an event it's called begin play, that it's executed on every game loop. So I will explain a little bit later what a game loop is. But basically, all the code that we do gets executed every time we show a frame to the end user. So every time we compute, we do a run, and we show one frame, we are executing all the code, calculating all the collisions, and well, doing a lot of stuff. Well, the blueprint editor, well, when we create a blueprint, we must select the base class, and that it will set the type of the blueprint that we are creating. The blueprint editor, okay, has these 3 main tabs that I already said. Let me see if I'm missing something. Well, no. So next. Let's see. Well, the project settings, it's one of the important things that we should configure in the editor as soon as we have prior to building any game. And we can do this by edit and then go to project settings so that we know that the game works correctly. So there are certain options, as I said, that are really important and we should take into account. That's the maps and modes configuration. This allows us to tell the editor what's the initial level that it should load, and what mode will be running the game. Without this, I mean, if we don't set this, every time the editor is open, it will create an empty level and it will kill time, because you need to open another level, and sometimes if the level have too many things, it can be slow to load. And then you can do the input configuration. So Unreal Engine gives us something like a group of wrappers that lets us define actions as a response of stimuli. So for example, we can create a mapping that is jump that's associated with the spacebar, the letter J, the number 7, and the button 4 of a gamepad. And every time in our game, when that mapping gets executed, so if I press J, or if I'm using, let's say, if I'm using a joystick or whatever, I mean, and I hit button 4, my character or whatever, it will trigger the input jump. Let me see, what else? Well, I mean, actually, that's it for this, and I'm going to show you a little bit what we can do with Unreal. So, give me a second. Takes a little time to open. Okay, so I'm going to show you a game that I did when I took a course on Unreal Engine, and I hope you like it. And you can ask me questions while I'm demoing. We need to be patient. Sometimes this takes a lot of time to load. Okay, so can you see my screen? I mean, the Unreal editor? Yeah, good, good.
Yes.
Awesome. So, as I said, this is the viewport. I can look down, look up, holding the right click. I can go up and down using Q and E. Let's see what we have here. So here we have, this is the character, my main character. And if you see this thing here, this little thing here, this is what actually the camera views. So this is what the player will view when the game starts. As I said earlier, I select the character, it gets selected here in the world outliner, and here I see all the things, all the details that this actor has here. So the location, the X, Y, Z, what's the rotation, so it's rotated 90 degrees, the scale, so it's on a scale of 1, 1, 1. If I change this and I say, let's say, I don't know, I want to scale it on X, no, let's make it taller. So let's do on a scale. As you see, I mean, it gets all stretched. Let me see if I can find this. This is actually the light of all the level. I'm gonna just turn it on so that we can see stuff. And let's fix this. Poor guy, he got stretched. And this is what we have here. This is the level that I built. As you see here, we have some foliage. That are simple plants. Here we have, let me see, this is a trigger box, and but if you want, I can just go in and skip and do a little bit of a demo. Let me turn this off. Okay. Play this level. Let's launch it here. Select the viewport. I hope it works. I mean, I haven't opened this in a long time. Okay. I'm gonna try to unplug my earphones so that you can hear it. So it also has music. So tell me if you can hear it. Okay. So this game that I developed is a small goblin that has to go through a dungeon and try to escape and skip traps. So it has 3 powers. Power number 1 is a torch. I actually had to do that animation by myself. I did also the fire. Everything was built, and everything was built with the engine. So as you can see, it's really nice. Has a nice animation there, lighting the torch. Then you have another skill that it shows you traps. So I can see that there are a couple of traps ahead of me. And then we have another one that it's like a sigil position, so that the AI won't see you if you're walking like this. So now let's go ahead and trigger some traps. As you see, I have also the jump. Now that's a huge fireball. There's some sound there, and I actually don't see anything. Let me see. Yeah. So let's try and, okay, I jumped. There are some glitches. This is a game in development, so I ask you to be patient, like that one. Holy shit. Well, no, damn it. I don't even know how to play my own game, sorry. Well, I have died. Now the game is loading the main menu that we built with the HUD. As you can see, well, the Labyrinth, born out of darkness, reach up to the light. The idea was that it was a goblin that was held in a dungeon really low underground, and it has to go up, keep going up to escape. Let's hit the tutorial again so I can show you the win move. And it also has 3 different track selections that they start randomly. I already know how to win it. And this is a really simple labyrinth. So I am here and then I won. Awesome. Now he stands in Gangnam style. I didn't code that animation. Actually, I tried to search it and took it from another place. So, well, and that's it. That was the only level that actually had any traps in it. The rest are just mazes, labyrinths, and they all have the same default textures and materials and stuff. What I really like, I don't know if you can notice it, are the tiny effects that are with the flame. That I like them really much, those things that are left there. Then there's all darkness, and then I won. So that's basically it, guys. I don't know if you want me to build something or to, I don't know, ask a question or whatever. I hope I didn't bore you till the death.
Nico, I just have one question. How much time did it take you to build that game?
Well, this actually was a prototype, but to make it at the state that it is now, it took me, let's say, it was, say, 2 weeks working 8 hours a day. That more or less should have been what it took me to build the game at this stage. What I like the most of what I had to do in this game was the algorithm to generate random labyrinths. So let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Blueprints. Okay, so this is my level generator. And this is what I mean by visual coding. I mean, I have this zoomed out as much as I can, and well, you can group part of the things to show. But basically, this algorithm, what it does is it takes starting position, some level dimensions. Let's say I want it to be 600 for 900. Each unit, the unit in Unreal Engine is centimeters. So take that into account if you ever want to do something. Then there's the number of pieces that I want to use, the X and Y dimensions. This is for a grid, actually. So let's say I wanna build a labyrinth in a grid of 20 by 15, and I want to position only 9 pieces. The algorithm will try to create, will just allocate 9 pieces in that. Then you state the piece dimensions so that let me show you one piece. Oh, let me just finish this. Well, extra connections. There's not branch chance is a chance for the backtracking algorithm to randomly open a new branch on the labyrinth. And actually, I think that's it. Yeah. If you want to see what's this visual code, for example, well, this is a custom event that gets triggered. In this case, I think it was triggered on when I hit something. And I have here what we call a struct, which has a starting position, that it's a vector, then it has level dimensions, that it's a 2D vector. This is a vector has three parts, X, Y, and Z. Then we have the number of pieces, branch chance. I break everything, and I set all these local variables that you can see here. And well, then it's actually, well, I need to check a lot of stuff, and I don't know. I mean, I need to inform if I connect a piece. I need to randomly connect some pieces. This thing is an if. See how ugly it is? I mean, if you code, you will understand that doing this is not fun. But it has several advantages. So that one of them is that you can teach this Blueprint language to anyone, that they don't need to know actual programming to do this. So it's one of the things that I really like the most. Another thing I like about the editor is that you can do almost everything of a game inside here. And when I say everything, I mean you can edit animations, create sounds, create textures, create, I don't know, whatever you think of. Let me show you. Let's see what are the pieces. So let me increase the camera speed because this is awfully slow. Holy. So pieces on this are like this. Let me open a new level and show you. Maps, level generator. Let's say. So let's go here. The main concept of this labyrinth is this. We are going to build a straight labyrinth, so we have all these different pieces. This one is a piece with only one entrance. A piece with two entrances could be a corner or could be a hallway. Then we have a piece with three entrances, so that's like a hallway with a missing wall. And then we have a four connection piece, which I don't know why it's showing like that. Sometimes it's hard to navigate. Ideally, the columns should be on the outer edges. I don't know why it's doing that. And I don't know. Let's see. Let's try and show you. This is too fast. Let me just quickly show you. Let's configure a level. This is my level generator. I assigned it a mesh. The mesh I assigned it is a cube. So let's see. Let's put the level dimensions. Let's see. Let's use. I don't want to kill my machine, so let's do 30 per 20 and allocate only 170 pieces. And let's do a branch chance of 5. And I hit play, and let's see. Let's hit this little button here. Okay. New level should be generated, and you can print the logs in there. And well, as you can see, if I go with my little guy, shift. Damn it! Sorry. It happens. I don't remember how to quit the viewport without killing the thing. So let's try and reach the labyrinth. No. Damn it. Well, I'm gonna be endless falling, so excuse the technical difficulties. So I don't know, guys. That's it. I don't want to bore you to death with me talking alone here. So if you have questions or whatever, shoot them.
Nico, where did you grab the models from, the 3D models? Is there any resources pages?
Yes, there actually are a lot of pages that contain free 3D meshes. In game development, you must always look to, if you're building let's say a proof of concept, you need to, sorry. Give me a second, please. Yes, there are a lot of pages that have free meshes. What you need to take into account are the sorry. When you use something that you don't own.
Copyright.
Copyright, thank you. you need to be aware of the copyright. I can send you links after this tech talk on links from where we could grab meshes. Unreal, what it has a good thing that it has the Unreal Marketplace. It's a marketplace where you can download free meshes, free characters. You can also have paid content. What else? I mean, there's a lot of things. Actually, the pieces that I did. Let's see. I don't know. Let's do this. If you see here, I'm editing one of the pieces that I made. I can come here and say, okay, you're not going to use this material. Now you're going to use, let's say, you're going to be a wall of bushes. So depending on how you set the I don't know, when this repeats all over the place. I don't know, guys. Shoot me questions or not, or throw me a stone.
How big is the community so far for the plugins? And or is it right now, for example, if I were to build a game, how easy would it be for me to build everything from just based on plugins for the graphics?
Well, actually, you can find a lot of things. The community is really big. It has support, and Unreal Engine, it's actually getting ahead on the market. It's, at least for me, it's a really good engine. The community is supportive. You can ask questions either on blueprints or C++ code. There are tons of plugins. Let me see if I can find the marketplace so I can show you. You can grab free animations, textures, meshes. Okay, so this is the Unreal Engine, and let me go here to the marketplace to show you something. You have 2D assets, characters, special effects, environments, textures, weapons, props, demos. There are a lot of demos that are free to use and with open content, so no copyrights for the own Unreal guys. They just put a lot of things into this. So I don't know, let's see, let's go to, I don't know, community samples. Let's see, no content found. Okay, my bad. Let's go to weapons. Okay, something is wrong. It's definitely wrong here. But here, see, for example, I got this animation starter pack, and then if I select here, I can add it to the project that I have currently open. Then there's also game textures material pack. If I go here, hopefully it will load. Thank you. And here we have, I don't know, a set of weird materials in the meantime, whatever. So materials are coded in the same way as the blueprints. It's actually, I don't know much about materials, so I would have to dig in. But I don't know, I mean, there's a ton of cool stuff, free stuff available. Building a game is not that hard as you might think it is. It just takes a little bit of time to get used to it. And I, as a programmer, I mean, I code every day. It took me a while to get used to coding blueprints. Sometimes it's really a mess. As you've seen, I got like a spaghetti code of nodes on the algorithm. I hope this answers your question, Isma.
Yeah, it does. So yeah, right now we're speaking, also looking at several blogs. They're explaining the content and giving you updates of new free material that you can download for it. So
yeah, there are a lot of free materials, tutorials. Actually, Unreal. Let me see if I can open it. No, I already here. Let me see if I. For example, the Goblin, I took it here from a Mixamo animation pack. let's here. This is an example of, this is content examples. This is actually what you can download with the version of Unreal, and it will show you examples on blueprints, on, well, like a ton of things. And each, this is a content examples. There is also a particle effects example. This one is really nice. I wish I could do something like this someday. So let's see. If we come here, let's see, welcome to the Unreal, blah, blah, blah. Content example, what do we have here? I think I need to open another level. Maps. Yeah, so let's see, I mean, here you wanna see, I don't know, mouse interaction blueprint examples. So here it is. I hit play here, it will play on the viewport, and if you see, I can move stuff around. I don't know what this does, but left mouse to drag sphere, left mouse to stop and start moving the cube. So yeah, as you can see, I mean, there are a lot of things here that are open and free, and you can see, I don't know, you can take examples. If I go to the code of this level, so let's see, level blueprint. Here it has, well, it begins to play, it disables the HUD, sets the cinematic mode, hides the player, then what else? Well, it will hide a player for this example, it will just fix the player view to a fixed position, and then, well, these are the events. You click on a cube and it toggles the marinier to move the cube to one place to another. Then if you can, let's see, what is this? Marinier actor. Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, with this, we just did the thing to move the spheres and stop the cube. And like this example, I mean, there is a lot of them. And there's also one of the greatest things I think that Unreal Engine has is that it's automatically ports every game to virtual reality with Oculus Rift. So you can, for example, I tested my game, the Goblin moving through the dungeon, with an Oculus Rift, and it's really amazing. You can export the project to, let's say, build an APK so that you can port your game to Android. I don't know if it ports to iOS, but you can make different distributions to, I don't know, let's say PlayStation, Xbox, PC, Android. So you have all those things integrated into just one tool, which I think is cool.
Are there any limits to what you can do with the with this? Because, for example, if I were to do, I don't know, a game for an open world game, is there a limit to how big the map could be?
No, I mean, I don't think there's, well, let's see here. Let me just, well, actually, there's a limit of 255 quads, which I don't know what quad meant, but it's really, really big. So I don't know, let's see, I wanna, how do I do this? Let's do this, create a new level. This is, let's open this new level, don't save anything. And this level has nothing. As you can see, it's all black, and we only have the name of the level. So let's start by adding a few things. Let me come here and say we want to add, I want to add atmospheric fog. No, well, let's add a spotlight here. You see, this is the direction where the light of this spotlight will trigger. Maybe this was atmosphere. No. Let's add a directional light. Yeah. So I do this, and in theory, well, here you have the level. And this is just 63 quads. And if I put, well, I don't have any character here, but let's put a cube. Let's put a cube. And now let's switch to this view. Well, the cube doesn't seem to be that big. Let's put it on 0, 0, 0. And where are you now? Cube, come to me. Well, you see, I mean, the cube is actually almost like one of these tiny things, and this is only 63 per 63. So if we want to make it even bigger, I don't know, this is pretty huge, at least to my opinion. Let's see, let's try to do this. Fill the word. Let's put some, I don't know why. Well, I mean, you can add from everything from physics to user interface to, well, artificial intelligence, a behavior tree, a blackboard. I'm trying to find, actually, let me do this. Let's come here. It was, yeah, it was a sky sphere. That's what I wanted to add, so that you can see the light. So I want to add skylight, you know. Please bear with me. It's been a long time since I haven't done anything here. It should be here. And it drop a skylight here. How do I add something here? Well, I'm sorry to say I cannot add a sky sphere. Oh, sorry. So, damn it. Well, guys, I don't know. I mean, talk to me, give me some feedback. You're liking what you see, you're hating me.
I actually think it's pretty neat. I'm reading a little bit more on that about the question I asked. It says that there's a seamless world, so infinite worlds apparently. So even if there's a map size limit, I guess it goes from one world to another depending on how you construct the game.
Yeah, I mean, we could, let's say, I don't know, we make this level of, what did we set? It was for 255, and then let's say, well, we can add a lot of things here, but you can add this, and then you can stream when the player is reaching one of the ends of this endless map. You could start streaming a new level. So you can load it on the background and then start showing things of that level to the player when he's moving through that area.
Alright, so basically you can make an enormous world that never ends if it came down to that.
Yeah. So, I don't know, guys. We can go back to the slides and I can show you the last slide. And you can upload.
I have one question.
Sure.
How difficult was made the animations of the torch fire?
Well, that was actually pretty hard. The most hard animation that I had to do with this was, let me try to find it here, just to show it. Where is it? Where's the goblin? Here. Animations. It's actually the, well, for example, the idle torch. As you can see, this was one of the most hard things, because when you are idle torch, let me try and show you something else. There were some basic animations, so for basic movement, the character can run, move, do stuff. All that is based on a skeleton. So if we see here, give me a second. Well, as you can see, maybe you can't. Well, yes, you can. Here are all the bones of a skeleton. So you need to move each one of these parts. If I do this, I don't know, for example, the guy will be all the animation with its finger like broken up. So, and then you see that this is playing on a loop. So the hard thing about doing animations in here is that it's not that neat. And then you add sections, and then after that, let me just walk towards running towards. Yeah, this one, for example. It's actually not that neat. But what I had to do here are, for example, the left arm, let me pause this guy. The left arm, on this case, left arm T, which is, you have to like tell how it will move over time. And actually it was really hard for me because I had to make this guy, I had to add a lot of movements to the left arm, which was, the yaw is actually on the, you see, it's rotating the hand, and this is over time. So when I do this, as you can see, I can make him, let's say, close a little bit less or open a little bit more the hand, so that it looks like a natural movement. And if you want to do like a full animation, I don't recommend doing it in Unreal because it's actually pretty hard. You need to practically move thing by thing. But there are other programs that do that. And then let's see, what is this? Well, you see, I'm just pulling up and down this guy. So if I hit play now, he's going to do whatever with his hand, with his arm. Yeah, you see that he's opening, he's doing weird stuff. So with a torch like that, he would burn his, I don't know, his face.
That's great. I think I imagine that anim, anime something.
Mm-hmm.
It was very easy, but it was okay. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Carlos. So, any more questions? I mean, this is the first one of a series of tech talks that I plan to do on this topic. If you guys like it, I mean, if you guys allow me to keep talking to you, like all nervous and all stuff.
What if you want to use something else besides blueprints to program your game?
How was that?
What if you want to use something else besides blueprint to do
Well,
the coding?
what you need to do is you need to download the Visual Studio. That's what I advise. And then in there create a new C++ project and then start coding classes, and you include those classes. You'd say, let's say, I don't know, I want to create a pawn, or I want to create, I don't know, I want to create an animation. So I need to extend of a particular class. In this case, I don't know, but let's see. For example, I'm going to create a new loop in here. Asset actions, no, sorry. So let's see, I want to create a new, something new. I want new blueprint. So here I choose whatever I want to do, right? And this will create me a blueprint. If this is not the mode, then what you do is you import the C++ classes into your project structure, and then you instantiate them. Let me see if I have something like that here. Remember, I had to create instances somewhere. Inform, blah, blah, blah. Random chance, no. Check if no. Random direction. Reset the variables. So here, let me see. Make this, make that. You can also add logs that you will see going all over the viewport. Check options. Okay, so if all this happens, what do we do? Previous piece. Okay. Okay. Here it was. So how do you instantiate a class? For example, well, you can spawn an actor like this. In this case, BP1E is my blueprint for one entrance. I can go and browse it here. It's this guy, the one that we changed. Actually, if I hit compile here, it will just change on every level. That wall, it will be now a bush wall, as you see here. But if you want to code classes, you just need to import them into the Unreal project, instantiate them, and that's basically it. You can never fully detach from blueprints. There are some things that you need to do with blueprints. Like for example, the game start, you need to set it with a blueprint. And then, well, I can show you the project settings like this. Come on. Okay. So what I said earlier today, for example, all the mappings, here we have pause, skill 1, skill 2. As you see, this is pressing the key 1 on the keyboard, or the gamepad face button left, face button top. Those will be the, in a PlayStation, for example, PlayStation gamepad, it should be the triangle, square, circle, cross. Then quit, escape. Moving forward, you see that here you have WS. S is actually scaled to -1, so this will, I only just need one mapping to make the character move forward or backward. When I hit W, it will just scale 1.0 and it will go straight, so it will keep getting the same value. And if I hit S, it will scale it to the -1, so that's actually like multiplying it. So it will give me the opposite number. The same with move right. Actually, I only have move right, and then move left is the opposite of it. And then you can map, for example, axis. So you map the y-axis on the thumbstick or the x-axis on the thumbstick. And if you turn, for example, well, you could control the right thumbstick to look around or stuff like that. Any more questions? Okay, so let's see. Well, guys, this was the demo. I'm sorry if I didn't have anything really prepared and really neat for it. You could suggest me things to do or to demo or stuff that you want to try out. You can download the engine, it's totally free, and you can start playing with it. Maybe, I don't know, sometime in the future we could do a workshop about Unreal. I don't know what you guys think. And well, this is a piece of advice. It's dangerous to go alone, so take this. Be good with Magikarp. The day he evolves, we're in trouble. Thank you.
Thank you, Nico. Thanks.
Gracias.